last minute. They called us. We were in New Orleans yesterday eating shrimp and drinking a beat of beer. But we got the call. And while I'm not the person who probably traveled the farthest here tonight, I'm certainly one of the happiest to be here. More about that in a moment. Tonight we celebrate the final performance of the Champions of Nothing. Whoa. The band formed in the fall of 2009 for the express purpose of accomplishing what had only been done once before, staging a complete live performance of the late Kevin Gilbert's rock opera, The Shaming of the True. Gilbert himself did not live to see this piece completed, having passed away in 1996. His collaborators assembled the songs Gilbert left behind and released a CD in 2000, and they performed Shaming live 2 years later at the Prague West Festival in California. The studio recording developed a dedicated cult following, but never received mainstream exposure, and the show was not performed again until the Champs' debut in August of 2010. Tonight marks the 6th live performance of The Shaming, and the 4th and final time that the Champions of Nothing will take the stage together to bring you this progressive rock masterpiece. As for my connection to the show, tonight's performance brings the Champs and I full circle, so to speak. In 2010, Saugatuck Brewing Company was trying to branch out and develop our fairly large function room into a concert venue. One night, a regular customer, Charlie Williams, approached me with a business proposal. My reply was, of course, as an owner, sure, as long as it isn't going to cost me anything. Yeah, little did I know what a wonderful chain reaction would begin that night. Charlie told me that his band had been booked to play Ethelfest, a progressive rock event in Chicago, and that he was looking for a place to do a trial run for his show. I had never heard of Kevin Gilbert or The Shaming of the True, so Charlie filled me in and he gave me a CD to listen to, insisting that I not just played it in the car on the way home, but to put aside an hour, get comfortable, and listen while following along with the lyrics. I did as he suggested, and I was absolutely blown away by what I heard. I called him the very next day and insisted that Saugatuck Brewing host the Champs' debut, and on August 7th, 2010, Saugatuck Brewing Company was the site of the 2nd ever live performance of The Shaming of the True. I was so impressed by the Champs' performance that I determined that they would come back and do it again 3 months later. And I had them booked for a 3rd show in 2011, which unfortunately had to be canceled due to a band member's injury, Steve, and subsequent surgery. Perhaps the biggest joy of that memorable evening was the presence in the audience of Jason Hubbard, a childhood friend of Kevin Gilbert's in California, the leader of Kevin's first band, NRG, pronounced Energy, and a co-composer of some of the songs which eventually found their way into The Shaming of the True. Jason now lives in Michigan and learned of the performance accidentally when his daughter, who was having lunch at our pub, saw a promo poster and said, "Mommy, look, Kevin Gilbert. We have to tell Daddy." Jason was absolutely stunned that some Midwestern band would be playing Shaming in a brew pub near his home. His enthusiasm and gratitude were palpable, and he surprised everyone by bringing copies for each of the band of the original vinyl record he and Kevin released in 1984. Although Jason is no longer in the music business, he's now a pastor at a church in Grand Rapids. He was excited to be here tonight running the soundboard for his friend's last show. Unfortunately for us, a family commitment prevented him from making the trip, and his presence is surely missed. However, his role as the band chaplain does not require him to be here physically, and I'd like to read now a short invocation that Jason has written for tonight's performance. It is a rare and beautiful thing to encounter music which stirs one's soul and lifts one's spirit. By gathering here tonight, you are all making an offering of the only thing you truly have to offer, your presence, time, and attention. And so, as you have offered, so shall you be blessed to be in the last people likely to experience live the sweet fruit that is the last musical gift my dear friend Kevin Gilbert gave to the world. Many of you know The Shaming of the True by heart. Some of you have been brought here by friends promising an experience you will never forget. Still others have been maybe seen an advertisement and came out of curiosity. All of you are needed. None of you will be disappointed. Most of you can look forward to a lifetime of saying, I remember that night. The synchronicity of words and melody within the Shaming of the True are intended both as a revelation and a warning that the powers and players would claim to be the image makers and rock stars of the music business. But as is the case with all of Kevin's music, do not be fooled into believing that any part of this rock opera or any other word or note he ever wrote are only about what appears on the surface. This is a rich brew being laid out before you. Drink it deeply into your own story, and let it reveal to you your own beauties and follies. Let us give thanks tonight. This is a preacher, isn't it? Let us give thanks this night, not only for the art and message of our friend Kevin, but for those who gave untold hours to completing this work, left unfinished at his death. Those who knitted the pieces together so that we all are able to revel in their performance. And let us offer our highest gratitude to these musicians here gathered who have invested hundreds of hours of their lives to learning this piece without the help of the author or even his printed music to guide them, but only by sheer force of will. Their determination to listen closely to some of the most complicated and extraordinary rhythm and harmony ever forged into a rock opera. I leave you with the wisdom of our friend Kevin, when the voice of Johnny Virgil offers a simple and profound blessing and truth. Love is the way back home. Let us always endeavor to make it so. When I called Charlie earlier this week to let him know that I would be here tonight, he asked if I would reprise my role as Master of Ceremonies, and I am no less honored to be standing here right now before the champ's last show that I was there for the first. Ladies and gentlemen, a toast to the champions of nothing.
Yeah! Yeah!
Not done yet. And now a few words about the composer Kevin Gilbert. He was an irreplaceable genius, a man whose name would be well known today had he lived longer than 29 years. He was not just a gifted, classically trained keyboard player. He was not just a recording studio wizard. He was not just an amazing multi-instrumentalist or brilliant poet. Kevin Gilbert was a true Renaissance man who excelled at everything he approached. As you listen to the lyrics of The Shaming of the True, you get a glimpse into the mind of a man who saw life with complete clarity, the good and the bad, the sublime and the ridiculous. On October 11th, 1995, just 7 months before his untimely death, Kevin Gilbert performed here at the Shank Hall, playing songs from his first solo record, Thud. In fact, a couple of the songs you will hear tonight are actually being performed here at Shank Hall for the second time. It seems most fitting that the champions of nothing have chosen to mount their last production of The Shaming of the True on a stage where their hero once stood. Now, some of you may not be familiar with the show, so here's a brief introduction to the plot. Tonight's drama tells the tale of Johnny Virgil, a young singer-songwriter who moves to Los Angeles, the city of the sun, to try and become a rock star. He soon realizes that his goal is attainable, and not on his own terms. The record company suits bombard him with visions of wealth and celebrity, and Johnny sells out, which catapults him to stardom. But he knows deep down that his success comes at a price, and the price is, well, you're about to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, a toast to the memory of Kevin Gilbert.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, the champs of nothing present Kevin Gilbert's rock opera, The Shaming of the True.